Hello internet, my name's Lave, and this week I watched Bridget Jones's Baby. I could have watched Kubo and the Two Strings, I could have watched Blair Witch, I could have watched The Girl with All the Gifts, but no, I chose to watch this, and I don't really know why. I do know actually, I'm trying to diversify my channel by watching and reviewing films that I wouldn't normally go and watch. And as rom-coms go, I don't actually mind the original. I think it's got a lot of charm, on-point casting with some good performances, and it is funny. Sharon Maguire, who directed Bridget Jones's Diary, is back in the director's chair for this one. This time round we catch up with Bridget as she's celebrating her 43rd birthday. She's in her flat on her own once again after separating from Mark Darcy. The rest of her friends from the original are all settled and have children. If they're not settled, they're imminently about to be. So in an act of defiance, Bridget decides to join her younger co-worker at a music festival where she bumps into an American stranger called Jack, where she has a one-night stand. Shortly after this, she attends a christening of a friend's child where she bumps into Mark Darcy, who reveals that he's getting divorced from his wife, so they hop on the good foot and do the bad thing. And not long after that, she discovers that she's pregnant. The only problem is she doesn't know who the father is, and now we have our movie. So there is a sense of deja vu here. When you really think about it, Bridget is in exactly the same place as when we found her in the first one. She's a woman of advancing years who is feeling the pressure from her friends and peers to settle down and have a baby. That was the plot in the first one, wasn't it? There are some slight differences. She's got a secured job as a producer on a news channel, and she's reached her target weight, which is a shame, I thought, because I thought the fact that she was battling with her weight was something that was really relatable. Not that I thought she needed to lose weight, I thought she looked fine the way she did in the first one. I feel myself digging a hole here, I'm going to move on. I do think that the makers of this film are trying to capture the spirit of the original. At the same time, they're trying to update it and keep it relevant, while at the same time are trying to step out of its shadow, and I don't think they're entirely successful at that. As I say, the screenplay feels very familiar and hits a lot of the same beats, but isn't quite as funny as the original, in my opinion. Just as an example of what I mean by it trying to update it and step out of the shadow at the same time, the film starts off with the all by myself, and I was like, oh my god, and then Bridget turns it off and says, oh fuck off, and then puts on House of Pain's Jump Around. That was out of date 5 years ago. The performances were okay. There was a sense of them all being on autopilot just a little bit, but I do think that there is something missing, and I think that something is Hugh Grant's character Daniel Cleaver. Now, they do explain why he's not in this. I'm not going to spoil it here. His absence is substituted with Patrick Dempsey's Jack, who is an American internet billionaire, but essentially a nice guy who just gets entangled in it all. I just didn't think the competitiveness and the conflict between him and Colin Firth's Darcy, who is also a nice guy, it just wasn't as interesting or as funny as the conflict between Darcy and Cleaver. And as a result of that, I didn't really care who the father is and who she ended up with. Apart from that, there were genuine moments where I was laughing. Emma Thompson easily steals the show as Bridget Jones's doctor, and it was nice to see the majority of the cast returning to their roles, with a particular mention to Jim Broadbent. He's always good. So that's my thoughts on Bridget Jones's Baby, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. As I say, there were some moments that made me laugh in this film. I do think that it's an improvement on Bridget Jones' Edge of Reason, but I don't think it quite captures that spirit of the original. I think if you're a fan of the original Bridget Jones's Diary and the books, maybe, I don't know, I've never read them, but you might quite like this. I'm obviously not the target audience for this film, but then I did appreciate the first one. I just didn't appreciate this one as much. So thanks very much for watching my review of Bridget Jones's Diary. So thanks very much for watching my review of Bridget Jones's Baby. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give the video a like, and don't forget to share the Lave. Subscribe.